Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. We have a great edition today. We're going to feature Lake City, Florida, and some of its prominent citizens today. We're really excited to have you back and listening to us and watching us. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on 39 different audio channels. So check us out and let your friends know that Meldon Law and Friends is part of the community, and we want to showcase what's going on. Couple things coming up. July 4th is a couple weeks away, and Meldon Law is giving away this great package. We have a really beautiful charbroiled griller, along with a huge package of Omaha steaks for you to use it. And I've got Charles Rickey, our marketing director, promising to put together your grill. So it comes in a box, and the worst thing you can do to somebody is to give them a box and say, put it together. So I've got a commitment from Charles that he's going to come to your home and assemble the grill and make sure that it's really a welcome present for July 4th. We've got lots going on. We're preparing for our giveaway in the beginning of August of over 3,000 backpacks for school children. So stay tuned for that. We've got Tom Petty tribute concert that Meldon Law is the chief sponsor of, coming up in Ocala during August 20th, I believe is the date. And there's a lot more going on that we're going to keep you in touch with. Certainly, Florida football is exciting right now because we've got a new coach and some great recruits coming in. And speaking of football, we are here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Behind me, for those that are watching, you can see all of the helmets which represent every team that Steve Spurrier played on. These are actually his helmets. He saved these over the years, and it's pretty cool. I think he starts with his high school and then goes on to college, San Francisco. It's amazing. So come and visit Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. It's a museum with amazing display. We've got the Heisman Trophy for Steve Spurrier. We've even got Danny Warfel's Heisman Trophy here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. It's in Celebration Point in Gainesville, Florida. I'm here with my first guest today, Joey O'Hearn. Joey, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So you live in Lake City, correct?
The big city of Lake City, yep.
The big city of Lake City. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do there?
For sure. So I'm the executive director for the Lake City, Columbia County Chamber of Commerce. It's pretty self-explanatory. We serve the businesses of Columbia County and Lake City. We're a membership-based organization. We are quickly growing. It seems like more and more people are moving into the area and more people are opening businesses in the area, which is always great. So it's our job to serve those businesses.
What do you attribute the rapid growth of Columbia County to?
The good thing about Columbia County is Columbia County is centrally located in between Gainesville, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville. So you're only 40 minutes north of Gator Nation. You're only an hour from Jacksonville. You're an hour and a half from that other town that has a college football team. So it's a great location for people who want that country life, but also want the amenities. I laugh because our current chamber office, we're in the process of moving, is not near 75. And the amount of people who walk in and say, we're moving to Lake City. And we always say, how'd you find us? And they say, we got off the interstate. We're like, oh, okay. Like, I guess that works. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of Northerners move down. We've seen a lot of South Florida move up. But I think that's for everywhere. And thankfully, our businesses are benefiting from it.
You know, I started practicing in Gainesville in 1971.
Yep.
And for the last 50 years, I've gone to Columbia County representing the nice folks up there.
Yep.
And I've always loved, I love Lake City, Columbia County, because it's such a friendly community.
For sure. That's what's always nice to hear is when people come either to live there or to live and work there, to start a business there. People always say it's a very welcoming community, which as somebody who loves that community, obviously that's what you want to hear. So it's a great place to live. I say it's a great place to live, work, and play.
Yeah. My first time, this is a funny story. The first time I was in Lake City, I was representing Tom Petty. He had a group called Mudcrutch back in 1971. I had just started practicing law, and I had been working with him on some other projects that he had done. We had a festival called the Mudcrutch Festival in Gainesville before then. So anyhow, I booked him into the Holiday Inn in Lake City, right on US 90 by I-75. Now, I don't know, I don't think it's still there, and called the Holiday Inn as we knew it back then.
Right.
I think it changed over time.
It has changed over time. The Holiday Inn's still there, but it's probably a little bit different than you experienced it.
Yes, it was different. Anyhow, they had the best bar in Lake City. And one of my jobs as representing Tom was to try to book him into different establishments. And so I got him a gig at the Lake City Holiday Inn. And it was for 6 nights, I think, Monday through Saturday. And
Cool.
They played there. And I got a call from the manager there, and he was complaining because they wanted to play original songs, and of course the manager only wanted him to play top 40 songs.
Right.
So I called Tom and said, Tom, the manager wants you to play more top 40. He says, I get it, okay. So what he would do is he would introduce his own music by saying, and here's another top 40 hit from WGVL and, wherever,
Well played marketing.
Well played. So anyhow, that was my first introduction to Lake City. And it's amazing how the town has really grown over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I moved to Lake City in 2015, I believe, from an even smaller town of Lake Butler. And in that 7-year time frame alone, Lake City has grown exponentially. It's interesting riding down Highway 90, which is kind of like the main strip, and saying, that wasn't here, that wasn't here, that wasn't here, and knowing just the amount of economic development that has taken place in that 7-year time frame. And then to see and hear stories from people who have been around a lot longer than I have in Lake City, to hear what it used to be, how beside the mall, or what is the Lake City Mall, used to be at Open Hayfield, and now it's a mall. Just how the economic development has really taken off. And honestly, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. COVID obviously changed how everybody does business, and there was definitely a season where everybody thought, what will business look like post-COVID? I can tell you the chamber's grown exponentially post-COVID. Our members have grown. We don't really see it slowing down anytime soon.
Well, that's great. When Meldon Law opened up our Lake City office about 3 months ago, we were looking for a location, and most of the law firms were downtown.
Right.
And I went to myself, why aren't we out near US 90 and I-75? That seems to be where the most action is.
For sure.
So we found a great location behind Moe's and next to Eliano's.
Yep.
And that's really, become almost the epicenter as far as shopping goes.
For sure, and Moe's and Leonos are both chamber members as well. That's a great part of town, and that's the good thing about Lake City. If you're looking to open a business or start a business, there really are options like great historic buildings downtown, newer commercial buildings closer to the interstate. It really does offer something for everybody.
Yeah, well, we were really attracted because we were right next door to the Super Walmart, and we know that anybody that lives in Columbia County has been to the Super Walmart.
Very true, very true.
But it's really been exciting, and we're fully staffed with Columbia County residents at our office.
Very good.
And we did that intentionally because breaking into a new community, as far as having a physical location, we wanted to have locals there to
Absolutely.
help people.
I mean, it's all about community buy-in. People have a tendency to want to do business with those people that they know, and that's a great way to do it.
So anyhow, as the director of the chamber, What are some of the daily things that you go through, Joey?
So my overall role is to oversee day-to-day operations, budgeting, staffing, programs, and initiatives. So we have a staff of, I say, 2.5. So we have we have 2 full-time staff people and a part-time administrative assistant. And then I oversee fundraising, all the marketing. I pretty much solely oversee marketing and then programs and initiatives. So our role and responsibility is really to provide programs and services for our members that they benefit from. Because ultimately, I'm sure know this, as a business owner, you don't always have the time to go out and look for those resources and tools, and that's where we come in. So for instance, I believe in 2 weeks, we're doing one of our Better Business series, and we have partnered with a local John Maxwell speaker to do a training on cultivating a workplace environment that your employees don't want to leave. And that's something that's not always accessible to our members. So we have a great staff member that oversees our members, who really takes them in, fosters them, learns their needs, and makes sure that they're connected and served. Then we have a great administrative assistant, and then a few other people here and there.
So, how old is the chamber in Columbia County?
So the chamber celebrated its 100th anniversary last year.
Wow.
So founded in 1921. We celebrated in 2021 our 100th anniversary. And ironically enough, the building that we're currently in and about to move out of is also 100 years old.
So when I first went to Lake City, I looked at the downtown and the courthouse and all of that. This is in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I go, man, this town must have been, pretty active, 50 or 100 years ago. And what was the roots as far as Lake City and why people started moving there?
Well, fun fact a lot of people don't know is that the University of Florida actually started in Lake City and eventually moved to Gainesville. Now that's home of the Gator Nation. Lake City's got a lot of great history. It's an old town, and I think that's what makes Lake City really thrive as a community, both on a personal and a professional level. You've got great shopping, you've got great amenities, you have things that make for a good personal life, but also that history and knowing that it's a long-standing community really benefits a business owner.
Yeah, it's really cool. For those of you that haven't been to Lake City in a while, you go downtown, there's great restaurants, shops.
Fantastic restaurants and shops.
Really good. And downtown is definitely fun. We go down there, sometime, what is it? Toby Witt has a place downtown, yeah. Prohibition, and then across the street there's a great restaurant.
Marion Street is downtown. Well, it's Marion Street Deli and Pub. They're downtown, a great restaurant. They're a member. There's a great brewery named Howpatter. They're also a member. So it's got a pretty decent nightlife for being little old Lake City. It's a fun time.
It is. We actually had our a couple parties downtown. The first one was at Marion Street. Yeah. And then Meldon Law sponsored the party over at Prohibition. And then we had another get-together out at the new location on US 90. So we're really excited about the prospects in Lake City, and our focus was, let's open up an office where people can just come by, say hello, see
For
us.
Sure.
We're here. We're not some out-of-towners that never show up.
Absolutely. Yep.
We're there. So it's exciting for us to be there. How did you get involved with the chamber to begin with?
So a little bit of a complicated history, yet fun one. Started out as a business owner, came on as a subcontractor, came on as a staff member, and about a year ago, October will be a year, I actually took over as executive director. So I've seen it from all facets.
Well, we're here with Joey O'Hearn, who's the executive director for the Lake City, Columbia County Chamber of Commerce. And we're going to come back in 60 seconds and hear more from Joey.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law, and we welcome everybody who's watching and listening to our show here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. I'm here with our guest, Joey O'Hearn, the Executive Director for the Lake City, Columbia County Chamber of Commerce. Joey, what do you think about this restaurant museum and this whole deal here?
I have to say, I'm embarrassed to say that I have yet to come to Spurrier's. It really is a beautiful restaurant. I know that kind of doesn't make sense, but like aesthetically, it's a beautiful restaurant. It's also restaurant part museum if you have not been here. So if you ever have to come and wait, there's enough to look around and see. I mean, it's incredibly well done.
Yeah, and they have 3 bars if you're waiting, so you can have a drink while you're waiting.
Not a bad place to wait.
Not a bad. No, I mean, it really is a museum, and and for folks in Columbia County and Lake City, it's really easy because it's right off of I-75. Depending on where you are in Columbia County, you could get here in 35 minutes or less. And so, anyhow, come and visit us. For those of you that like great food, the food is outstanding. For those of you that are Gators, you will certainly feel at home here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, because it's all about the Gators. And it starts with Steve Spurrier, who is the greatest Gator of all time, because he won the Heisman Trophy, 1966, and then 40 years later, in 1996, coached the national championship team at the University of Florida, and he's the only person in the world to have ever done those 2 things.
Wow.
So anyhow, that's pretty cool. Anyhow, let's talk some more about Lake City and how the chamber helps businesses grow.
For sure. The interesting thing about the Lake City Chamber is it is all-encompassing of business sizes, business demographics, and quite frankly, age of business owners. So you have millennial business owners who kind of just know what they're doing when it comes to marketing. But then on the flip side, you have those what we call mom and pop businesses who have been around for decades, who clearly know what it takes to run a business and survive. So we're a diverse group, which is always great. We strive to be inclusive and represent our community adequately. But the thing that the Chamber is good about is advocating for businesses and providing them resources and tools. A lot of people who have started a business or running a business, that's their focus, is running a business, keeping their doors open. They don't have time to go out and find ways to market or find ways to plug into the community or to network and connect with other business owners. We do a really great job doing that. We are pretty proud of the programs and services that we provide throughout the year. We obviously have great events that are a lot of fun. We have an annual golf tournament that every year, I know nothing about golf, but it's still one of the funnest days of the year for me. So we do have fun things like that, but we also do things like Better Business Series, where we bring in guest speakers, or our Lunch and Learns, which is 1 hour tops. We bring in guest speakers that teach everything from digital and web marketing, preparing your business for tax season, staffing your business, dealing with the Great Resignation. I mean, it's pretty all-encompassing. We are the hub when it comes to business networking and advocacy of Columbia County.
So you have the events as far as people getting together, chamber mixers.
For sure. We call ours Business After Hours. We actually have one this Thursday. We do it once a month. It's always at a different business, and that's also great. You know, it's kind of interesting in the South whenever COVID happened and it was don't touch anybody, don't congregate. A lot of chambers had to pivot. I very quickly said in the South, that's not going to work. People like to get together. We like to hug and shake hands. It's not going to work for long. And so it's interesting as I talk to other chamber professionals how they've pivoted how they do business to where everything's virtual. We've kind of gone back to the way it was because that's how our members benefit is a face-to-face interaction of like, what does your business do? How can I help you? Here's what my business does. Let me help you, sort of thing. So when it comes to those sort of things, we do business after hours. We do a ribbon cutting, which we did for you guys.
Which is we had the best time. I had this scissors. It was as tall as me, and I had to kind of use it to cut. Where did you get that scissors?
Those were ordered many years ago, which is funny because about 2 months ago they got lost. And so the fact like you're calling around being like, we're looking for massive scissors, have you seen them? And then the amount of people who were like, how did you lose a massive pair of scissors? We're like, that's not the point right now. We just need to know, have you seen them? So yeah, we do a lot. Again, it's our goal that if somebody joins the chamber to make sure that they're getting a return on their investment. We track that return pretty well. A base tier membership for the chamber, because you join the chamber by employee count, is $225 a year. On average, our members see about a $370 return on their investment. So, I mean, we have the numbers and the data to prove that when you join the chamber, if you get involved, you will see a return on your investment.
And that's the key, really, is getting involved, showing up for chamber events, connecting with the people, going to the events, you meet people, and the next thing you know, you're doing business with friends.
For sure. I mean, and that's what I tell people. In today's world, people want to do business with the people that they know and they like. While social media is a great platform to get your business out there, at the end of the day, as crazy as it sounds, the old school tactic of a face-to-face interaction goes a long way.
Yeah, we found that in Meldon Law because we really have to, you know, we're involved with social media, internet marketing, TV, radio, billboards, all of that stuff. However, our best cases come from former clients, friends, family that refer cases to us because they trust us.
Sure, and that's one thing we really foster in our membership is to do business with your fellow chamber members. It's a membership-based organization, and that's for a reason. And so you know to network and to refer with your fellow chamber member. We do a pretty good job at that. We try to like beat that into our members of you should only think of if you need a law firm, the first law should be Meldon Law because they're my fellow chamber member and I want to invest in them, hoping that they'll return the investment in me. And our members are great about that. So it's a pretty good group of individuals. We have about 400 members, which is pretty great for our actual county size, as well as the amount of business licenses that are out there. So we serve all of Columbia County, 400 businesses is pretty great. That number is very close to what it was pre-COVID, and that we're very grateful for.
Yeah, how many folks live in Columbia County now?
If I believe correctly, I think we're around 45,000 live in Columbia County, 45 to 50, and then 17,000 I think actually live in Lake City.
Now, so what's the total for Columbia County? The total, including Lake City,
It's around like 50.
is around 50,000. However, Lake City is actually kind of the hub of the Tri-County area for Suwannee County and Hamilton County, right?
For sure. Columbia County has a lot of great amenities, and because of that, we kind of are the unofficial hub. I know this podcast goes very far, so if you're thinking, where is Columbia County? We're the only county in the state of Florida that I-10 and I-75 both intersect and cross. People are going, oh, okay. Or we're really the first stop before Disney. That's why we get a lot of traffic to say, we're on the way to Disney, we got off the interstate. So we are the hub, which is also beneficial to our membership because it's people from outside neighboring counties who are coming in to do business in Columbia County.
Well, and you have more commerce, more stores, businesses
For sure.
in Lake City than you have in Live Oak or in Jasper.
For sure. In our chamber, it's probably one of the strongest in the area. We've got a great staff and a great team and a great board. So we have businesses who are not Columbia County who are part of our chamber because they know all the great things that we do and the services we offer and the programs we provide to them.
Well, tell me some more about some of the things that are coming up with the chamber.
For sure. Right now, we're working on one program, which is called Leadership Lake City. It's an 8-week crash course of all things Lake City and Columbia County. And on top of that, we do some leadership training skills with, I believe, a mutual friend, Bob Gansack. So that's 8-week program. It's incredibly cool. I know I'm paid to say that these programs are great. I did it as a chamber member. It's fantastic. We're also working on the 2022 Gateway City Craft Beer and Wine Festival. We host a pretty large beer and wine festival every October for you Gator football fans. It's October 22nd. It's Florida football bye week. We've already checked into it. It is a day of pure chaos from my side of the events, but it's one of the funnest days ever. I mean, last year was the first event post-COVID. I told the staff, I said, if 100 people show up, let's be grateful. 3,000 people showed up for beer and wine tasting.
How many?
3,000.
Wow.
It was crazy. It's a lot of fun. Tickets will go on sale soon. And the biggest thing that we get asked about frequently is we just bought a building. As I mentioned previously, we're currently in a 100-year-old home. And as much as we love it, we have quickly outgrown it. So the board of directors decided about 6 months ago to purchase a new building, and we are in the threshold of renovations at the moment.
That's exciting because having a nice place for folks to go is always helpful.
For sure. And by all means, as a chamber professional, I champion other chambers. A lot of chambers didn't survive COVID. They either scaled back their staff, scaled back their programs, or even some just closed their doors altogether. So the fact that we've invested in a new building really is an investment to the future and speaks tremendously about the state of the organization as a whole.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about how much fun going to Lake City is, because every time I go up there, the people are really nice, they're friendly. There's just about every business and restaurant type that you can imagine right there.
For sure. And a lot of that, I think the reason I guess you could say that people are so nice is people are very proud of Lake City. It's a great community. Our business owners love doing business there. People love living there. So it's a great family atmosphere all the way from the top of the county to the bottom of the county and everything in between.
Now, do you see the growth of Columbia County being in any area like retirees or younger professionals or people that are starting businesses? Because I know it has been a rural county with farming and all that, but it sure seems to me like it's changing.
For sure. We get a lot of foot traffic in our office of those moving to Columbia County. Just that rough, I guess we'll call it data for lack of better wording. A lot of that, we're seeing a lot of people from the north move down to the south. And what's interesting is we're seeing a lot of South Florida move to North Florida. They like a slower pace, not so condensed when it comes to property. And that really is the great thing about Columbia County. I live 12 minutes from town, and I say that I'm in the country, but you're still 12 minutes from a grocery store and doctors. And,
In the big city, you can't go 2 blocks in 12 minutes.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Yeah, my wife and I were down in Miami this weekend, and she was like 4 miles away, and it took her 45 minutes. Okay.
I have friends who live in Los Angeles. They know that life. Yeah.
So I think that's part of the charm of Columbia County, Lake City, is that it's got everything you need to be very comfortable.
For sure.
However, if you want to live on a 1 acre lot or a 5 acre lot or a 25 acre lot, it's there, and it's not an arm and a leg to live there. It's a much more affordable place to live than many other, well, certainly the big cities. I mean, the prices in Tampa and Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando have just gone through the roof, whereas I think you can still find really beautiful homes, nice places to live at a very affordable cost.
Right.
So anyhow, we're big fans of Lake City. We've got a great team up there of folks that are there to help you out at Meldon Law. And I want to thank Joey O'Hearn for coming and joining us today on Meldon Law and Friends. We will be back in 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not, no,
I am
it's not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy
wait,
here,
honey.
this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're gonna need help, and they will help you.
We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law, and we are having a great show today. It's called Everything About Lake City, and I want to welcome our guest, Chris Ratliff, to the show. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, I'm doing great. It was a great, nice drive up, a beautiful day, and I always like being back in Gainesville.
Yeah, and it's fun here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, right?
Yeah, fabulous place. I've been here a couple times, but it's always nice to come back, and I just discovered a couple of things I hadn't seen from the previous times walking around. So I love this place.
So anyhow, everybody come here. And speaking about grills, go to Meldon Law Facebook page, and we're giving away a beautiful barbecue grill for July 4th, along with a whole package of Omaha steaks. So it's all free. You can enter. There's no entrance requirements. It's free to everybody, and you'll enjoy it. Anyhow, Chris, you are working with the Lake City Reporter now, which is the #1 newspaper in Columbia County and Lake City. What do you do over there at the newspaper?
Jeffrey, I'm the ad director. I've been at the Lake City Reporter since May of, I want to say 2016. So just last month was my 5-year anniversary there at the Lake City Reporter. Really enjoyed it. Love this neck of the woods. Originally from Gainesville, so North Florida's home to me, and that's why I came back here.
Yeah, I know you were talking earlier about going down to the duck pond when you were a kid and checking the ducks out and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I've got fond memories of that neighborhood, and had friends there, like I mentioned, the Barrows.
So where'd you go to high school at?
I went to Eastside High School for my first 2 years, and then I went to GHS for my last 2 years. So I graduated from GHS in Purple Hurricane and a Ram.
I love it. I love it. Well, my son graduated from GHS in 1996, and we loved GHS. It was a really cool school, and my son had a great time there.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time at both schools. Especially GHS. There's kind of a fondness there. My uncles went there. My mom went there. So when I transferred into GHS, I was pretty happy about going that route.
Well, that's cool. So tell us a little bit about your journey to Lake City, how you wound up there.
Okay, well, so I went through the whole system here in Gainesville. I graduated from GHS in 1986. Graduated from university. Well, in between, I graduated from Santa Fe Community College. Graduated from UF in 1991, and my first job was in Clearwater, Florida, at a brokerage firm. Lasted about a year, and then I found out about a job in the newspaper industry in Stuart, Florida, and started my journey in 1993 or so, and kind of been all over the United States in the newspaper industry. I was at the Stuart News for about 4 years. Got an opportunity to work in Charleston at the Post and Courier. That's the oldest daily newspaper in the South. Worked there for about 4 years.
That in Charleston?
Yeah, that's the oldest daily newspaper in the South.
How far back does it date?
200-something years. I mean, it's pretty much still run by the same family, the Manigos. And,
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a corporation, even Post Publishing, or even EPI, even Post Industries now.
Well, Charleston's one of my favorite cities.
Yeah.
And in the year 1700, Charleston, South Carolina, was the richest city in the United States.
I think I've heard that. And, one of their industries back then, their major industry was probably rice.
Well, rice and indigo.
Yep.
And because it was before the cotton gin. And although cotton was king, it was mostly king starting around 1800, around the time the cotton gin. So Charleston was unique because indigo was very important for clothing and coloring clothing and other things. And also the rice was very... it was perfect climate for rice because there was lots of lowland.
Yep.
What do they call it? Lowland there?
Low country, yeah.
Low
And
country.
that's why it was conducive to the rice farms.
Yeah.
So-
So you got to spend, what a great city Charleston was, huh?
Yeah, my daughter was born there, Kinsey. Yep.
Well, that's very cool. So after Charleston, where did your journey take you?
I had an opportunity to go and work for the newspaper company that I started with, which at the time was Scripps Howard. And so they had an opening at the kind of the motherships of Scripps at the time, which was the Memphis Commercial Appeal in Memphis. And so I went to Memphis and started off as a sales manager and became a general manager for a small daily newspaper in South Haven, Mississippi, which is right across the bridge.
Did you ever get to see the ducks walk at the Peabody Hotel?
I did, and it's a sight to see. Yeah, they come out of the elevator from the roof, and they've got a floor or two upstairs, and they open up the elevators, and they all come streaming out. And, it's really neat.
I think they have a handler all dressed up.
They do. Yeah. Those ducks are treated very well.
Yeah, there's a Peabody down in Orlando that had the same thing going on a while back. But if any of you haven't seen the ducks at the Peabody Hotel, check it out. So you wind up coming back to Lake City eventually, right?
Yeah. I in between Memphis, I was in Boulder, Colorado for about a couple years, and then wanted to get closer to home. And the closest I could get at the time was a small town in Salisbury, North Carolina. And I worked there for about 10 years, and then ended up in Columbia, South Carolina, at a alternative weekly for about a year, and then this job opened up. My kind of the push that I had was, I have a family, and my family was getting older, and I wanted to be able to see my family and spend time with my family before they, passed away. And so I was able to get, I had 3 positions I was looking at. One was here, one was in Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, and one was in Fort Walton. And, some people say, man, Fort Walton or Punta Gorda, and I was like, no, North Florida. And so I took the job in Lake City, and I haven't looked back. And so that was, like I said, about 5 years ago last month.
So you got 2 kids, right?
I do, yeah.
And what are they doing?
So my daughter Kinsey is at Santa Fe Community College, or I say community college, now it's called Santa Fe College. And my son Seamus is just finished up his first year at FGC. So they're both taking their classes and taking the college route.
Well, that's great. And you're keeping them in Florida, so you get to see them.
Yeah. They're I see them every day, actually. They both are. My son still lives with us, and my daughter, she pops in quite a bit as well. So.
What, to get laundry done and stuff?
Yeah, and mom's cooking.
Mom's cooking.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the joke about, a lot of kids from Gainesville that go to Santa Fe or the University of Florida, right?
Yeah.
But they show up at home with a bag full of laundry.
Yeah, and she doesn't actually ask us to do her laundry, but we kind of do it. We just throw it in with a load of stuff. But yeah, we get to see them quite a bit, and we really enjoy seeing them.
Well, that's terrific. So let's talk about the newspaper industry and what you're doing in Lake City, because I'm a huge fan of newspapers, and I know things are changing. Tell us what the Lake City Reporter is doing now and how they're adjusting to the times.
Sure. I'll back it up a little bit, just to remind people, because it surprised me. The Lake City Reporter has been in continual publication since 1874. So, wow. we're not a new publication by any means. It was started by a gentleman named C.A. Finley, and it operated as a weekly newspaper for a long time, actually until 1968. And in 1968, we became a daily, and we've been operating as a daily ever since that point.
So in 2 years, you're going to have your sesquicentennial.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so
150 years.
Yeah. So and I think we're probably, if not the oldest, we're one of the oldest businesses in Columbia County. I think it's safe to say that. So.
Well, newspapers, when a town started, the newspapers were absolutely essential because they carried all of the information. There was no TV, no radio, right?
That was the media.
That was the media. There certainly was no internet.
No.
So how is the Lake City Reporter, it's a daily, correct?
Yeah, we publish every Tuesday through Saturday. It's mail delivered now, which means that our subscribers, they get their printed edition in their mailbox each day that we publish. They also get a what we call an e-edition, which is emailed to them each morning. They typically get it at about 8 o'clock, if not earlier. And so, until the print edition gets there, they can still get the headlines and all that stuff. Actually, it's the whole paper. They can read through the whole thing. In fact, some of my customers that I call in, I usually drop off a complimentary paper, and they say, "Do you know how to get the e-edition?" It's like, yeah, but I'm a purist.
Yeah, I get the edition, and I love it because in the morning when I'm having coffee, I like reading the local news and seeing what happened in Lake City, Gainesville, Ocala.
Yeah.
There's really no good source to get detailed information except for newspapers.
Yeah, some of the things that, if newspaper went away, some of the things that you may take for granted that I don't see anybody really covering is those city council meetings or those PTA or those school board meetings. Those type of things that might be mundane and might be boring. Nobody's really on the digital side, kind of covering that stuff. So those are some of the things that we do. Now, of course, people would accuse us of, covering too many car crashes and, bad news, but we try to pepper that with the good things going on in our community as well.
Well, I think the business of the news is to report on what's happening in the community.
Yeah.
It's certainly nice to have feel-good stories. However, some of it is not so feel-good. However, people want to know the good and the bad. They want to know what's going on around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And in our case, with the print edition, we've got about a little bit over 24,000 readers each day pick up our print or read our printed product. And then we've got the website that I think you've seen, and we get on average about 22,000 viewers on our website each month, and then that equates to about 75,000 page views a month. So for a community our size, those are healthy numbers. And beyond the print edition and the digital edition, we've got other products, a lot of other products. In fact, when I came here, I was a little amazed. I was like, man, this is kind of like Metro we've got a toolbox of metro products in a small community like this, and that was encouraging.
Well, let's talk about it. What are some of the metro products that y'all have?
Well, once again, we're a small community, we're a small newspaper, but we've got a very robust local lifestyle magazine called Currents. And Currents has been around for over 16 years now. This comes out quarterly, typically the last weekend of each quarter. All the photos, all the stories, most of the ads, everything in there is done locally right there in Lake City by us. And it's well received. When it publishes, people look forward to it. It comes out, once again, distributed to our subscribers in the mail. But we have close to 180 what we call drop sites. And they're high traffic areas where people that don't subscribe to the paper can still get the magazine, and so they can still pick it up. So we reach beyond our subscriber base for that product.
So if you go to Eliano's, you might just find
If
one
you go
located.
yeah, you probably will at Eliano's and a lot of
that
yeah.
whole. Well, that's where Meldon Law's offices are. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of traffic there. So you try to put it where people are.
Exactly, and in fact, we're finishing up our summer edition right now. So we'll have another one in the fall. But that's one product that is very well received and surprising for a community our size. We've got another magazine that we call North Florida Home Seller, and so it's it's a product that caters to a reader who's interested in selling their home, or buying a home, or maybe fixing up their home. So that comes out monthly. It's a glossy magazine, and it's got listings of houses for sale. And you'd find the typical advertisers that you would expect to see in there: your mortgage lenders, your banks, your realtors, your brokers, your guys, the roofers, insurance, all those type of folks.
And Columbia County is growing rapidly. So I imagine the real estate is really hot right now.
Oh, it has been for probably at least the last couple of years. It seems like we're breaking records every year right now, and so yeah, that's a very it's a product people look for. Oh, and we have racks around town. They look like little houses that people can pick them up too.
So what color are these little houses?
They're blue. Say home seller on them. And then we distribute them at banks and mortgage offices and so forth.
Well, I think that's really important. I want to follow up on this. We're going to take a 1-minute break from Meldon Law and Friends, and we'll be back with Chris Ratliff.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law, and we're having a great time here talking about Lake City. I want to remind everybody that go to Meldon Law Facebook page, and you can win a beautiful big grill along with a large package of Omaha steaks. And we're celebrating 4th of July, so it's coming up. We want everybody to have a good time, and what better time can you have than grilling out with some great steaks and having a little bit of friendship and family around. We're here with Chris Ratliff, who is the advertising director for the Lake City Reporter. We were talking about some of the metro products that you had, and I wanted to continue that discussion because for me it's very fascinating that a small town newspaper like the Lake City Reporter has a fairly sophisticated group of products that they offer.
Yeah, we're very fortunate, and we've got some talented folks that work for us. We've got some talented writers in our newsroom and in our sports desk, and then a good staff of advertising professionals. But we were talking about Currents, we were talking about the North Florida Home Seller, but there's other products that we have as well that we publish throughout the year. One of them, well, I kind of couple these that I call them event products, and so there's certain events that happen in Columbia County every year, and so we have magazines or mini magazines for each of these products, and kind of capitalize on the publicity there. So one of them is the Illusty Festival, which happens in end of January, beginning of February. We have a product for that. Then we roll around into March, and we've got the Columbia County Rodeo, and so we've got a rodeo guide, and then we roll around the very next month into April. And you've got the Swanee River Jam, so it's a big country music jam. It's in Live Oak, but
it's huge.
But we get a lot of folks that are interested in going.
Well, yeah, I mean, y'all are the closest bigger city
Yeah.
to what is it, the Swanee Music Park?
Swanee. Yes, I think you're right. And then lastly, we have the Columbia County Fair. So we got a fair guide as well. So that's a whole other segment. And so your person to be interested in marketing in those products, they're looking to piggyback off of people being interested and probably attending these events. And in some cases, you're hoping to pick up an advertiser who's coming in from out of town to visit our community. So those are popular as well. We have another set of products that we call scholastic products, or I call them scholastic products. And so, the content is based on our local schools. So an example would be our graduation magazine. So each year you have, same thing here in Alachua County, you have a set amount of kids that are seniors and become graduates of whatever high school. In our case, it's Columbia County High School, it's Fort White High School, and it's Belmont Academy. Those are 3 public high schools. And so we have this glossy magazine that features every senior in each of those 3 high schools, and the community really rallies around it. I mean, it's obviously a keepsake for mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, so it's very popular. We also have what we call a back-to-school guide. It's not a glossy magazine, it's a tabloid newsprint product, but it is packed with, if you're a parent, with pertinent information specific to the school your child's going to, things like key contacts, calendar for dates during the year, and so forth. I kept them all year, and then we have the at the end of the or not the end of the year, but we have fall sports preview, which we'll be doing that in August, and we look ahead a little bit at the high school sports that are coming up in the fall.
And I know Columbia High School always has great football, right?
They are, man. It's amazing how talented our kids are, specifically in football and weightlifting and wrestling and others. Baseball. I mean, actually, if you think about it, that whole corridor there. This just recently, our Fort White High School girls made it pretty far. I think all the way to the state championship game. In softball, you had the Fort White boys made it the game prior to that. You had Swanee, Swanee, same thing, and then Columbia High, made it pretty far as well. So we play some baseball up in Columbia County as well.
Yeah, I know. Well, Meldon Law has our Scholar Athlete of the Week program where we honor scholar athletes from the whole region, and it's amazing how many winners we've had from Columbia County, and a lot of the athletes go on to pro careers, and I mean, there's some serious dudes up there.
Yeah, Timmy Jernigan, Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil, and Laramie Tunsil. He winds up playing for, I think, the Texas, the Houston, whatever the Houston
Texans,
team,
yeah.
The Texans,
Yeah.
or Houston Texans. I thought so. He signed like a $40 million contract or something last year. I mean, it was like mind-boggling.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. In fact, I think he just made an offer recently for the naming rights of Columbia County's football field.
No kidding.
It might be the Tunsil Field or whatever it'd be called.
Well, he was a Meldon Law Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we pick one male and one female to be our Scholar Athlete of the Year. And he wound up being our Scholar Athlete of the Year. So, you know, he's really excelled, like one of the best linemen. So the next time y'all turn on a football game, look for Laramie Tunsil, and he may be on the Columbia High School football field sooner than later.
Name.
So let's talk a little bit about the future of the newspaper industry. Chris, where do you see it going?
Well, I think, you know, you're going to see, I think you're still going to have purists like me and you, who are going to like the printed edition. I think that you're going to see, like my wife, for example, who likes to get her news online. So we're gonna have both of those products available, both of those ways to get the news out available. In fact, we've got a very robust social media or Facebook following as well. So, you know, we'll get the news out however we can.
So Facebook, how do folks go to Facebook and find you?
You can go to Lake City Reporter, you know, just Google, or not Google, but just go on Facebook and look for Lake City Reporter and just follow us.
How about if people want to subscribe, how do they find you?
You can go to, well, one of the ways you can do is go to our website, and there'll be some contact information there for you as well. You know, so lakecityreporter.com.
Yeah, we did it at Meldon Law, and it worked, and no problem. It's really pretty easy, and I'll tell you, I think that what you're doing in the reporting industry keeps communities strong. I think there's a strong tendency these days to create communities online. Mm-hmm. It's important, however, I think it's even more important to know your neighbors and your community.
Well, absolutely, and you know, back to those small, which might be considered niche stories or so forth. You know, each of those persons that we cover or write a story about, each of them, let's say they got a sphere of influence of 10 or 12 people, and then couple that. So every person, you know, wants their story told, and you know, once again, we cover the bad stuff, but we cover the good stuff too, and I think that's what most, you know. If you're a good local newspaper, your franchise is local. You know, we're not going to beat, you know, TV or even online when it comes to world news and things like that. But you know, we don't try to. Our world is Columbia County, and that's where we're going to focus.
That's why they call it the Lake City Reporter.
Right, exactly. So that's our focus. That's
not
our bread
the
and butter.
United States Reporter.
But nobody does that better than us.
Correct. And we're getting near the end of our show, but I really want to stress that, you know, I read a lot of newspapers in the morning with coffee. You know, I go online. I've got, you know, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. I've got the Gainesville Sun. I've got the Ocala Star Banner. I've got the Lake City Reporter. I've got, you know, different newspapers. Plus, I like having them delivered to the office so I can feel and see the newspaper. Yeah. And I'm glad that that is got a future. It's going to be different. However, I know that you utilized your online services as a way to generate revenues for the newspaper.
Yeah, we've got other services. You know, once again, back to that, you know, those products that you wouldn't expect a small community daily to have. You know, we have a service where we can run your Google AdWord campaign, or you know, another service we call Extended Reach, where we can create a digital ad campaign for you that runs on websites beyond our own, so national websites. And you know, me and you would sit down, and I'd say, you know, tell me who your perfect demographic is, and I'd jot all that down, and then I'd go back and we'd find out which of these national websites are reaching those customers of yours. Then I'd say, okay, now where do you want to target these customers? And you'd pick the geography. You know, it might be Alachua County and Columbia County. And so we got some neat things that we can help you with.
You know, we do that a lot too. You know, the idea of being able to, we call it geofencing, where, you know, you're able to go, oh, well, we just want people that are within the city limit of Lake City to see this digital ad, right? Yep. And you're able to send that message out at a very reasonable cost compared to trying to, you know, splash it, you know, all over, hoping that that target market sees it.
Yeah, and you know, so we offer those type of services as well. We have a nifty little call it nifty. We've got a nifty little social media tool. We call it LCR Social. And basically it works with any social media platform. And it takes your feed or it takes your post. Let's say you're using Facebook and you post, so you might boost and you pay for your boost, your campaign, but you might post organically. When you post organically, that post goes to the homepage of our website. And if I'm going on our website and I see your post, it's got all the functionality of whatever social media platform you're using. So if I want to follow you, I can follow you. If I want to share your post, I can share it. I can do all that. And the great thing is with the digital products and the social media products is you get a month-end campaign report, tell you exactly, what the results were.
Well, I think we could go on forever, Chris. However, we have run out of time on Meldon Law and Friends, and we'd love to have you back and delve more into it because I'm fascinated with the future of the newspaper industry because I feel it's so important. So thank you very much for joining us on Meldon Law and Friends, and we look forward to seeing more of you in the future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, and we're out. We'll see you next week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. live, and we're available on 39 different audio platforms as well as video platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and join us on Meldon Law and Friends next week.